It began with a red flag, a warning sign that flickered, quietly, uncertainly, and then was ignored. Ignored by the very institutions entrusted with protecting children. Joshua Dale Brown, 26 years old, a childcare worker, now stands charged with 70 counts of offences so deeply disturbing, Premier Jacinta Allan had no words strong enough, only that they were shocking and distressing. A phrase that cannot even begin to measure the pain, the betrayal, the devastation now unraveling in the hearts of families. But long before the charges, long before the public knew his name, long before the revocation of his Working with Children check, there was a moment when action could have been taken. 2 reports were made, not allegations of sexual misconduct, but red flags all the same. Concerns serious enough that G8 Education, the childcare provider running Creative Gardens in Point Cook, launched an internal investigation. Both reports were substantiated. Let that be clear, they were not dismissed. They were not unfounded, they were substantiated. And still, nothing. Still, Brown continued to work, continued to be trusted, continued to have access to children. Still, the very mechanism designed to protect children, the Reportable Conduct Scheme, chose not to escalate. The Commission for Children and Young People had the discretion. They had the power. They had the evidence. And they let it go. They deemed the conduct lower level. But now we ask, lower level to whom? To a child's frightened eyes. To a parent now shattered by betrayal. To a justice system now scrambling to understand how this happened. This isn't a tale of missed paperwork. This isn't a bureaucratic misstep. This is a systemic failure. Because a substantiated report about a childcare worker should never be considered an administrative detail. It should be a siren, a scream from within the system that someone might be a danger to the very people the system is built to protect. The Commission says they can't answer questions, there's a police investigation underway. But silence is not accountability. And time won't stop, because for the 8 children allegedly harmed, each day without justice is another day of pain. And for every parent who trusted the system, who believed that Working with Children check meant safety, that pain is now layered with fury. They didn't just lose trust in a worker. They lost trust in a system that was supposed to act on their behalf. A Working with Children check is not a ceremonial badge. It is meant to be a living, evolving safeguard. When new information arises, especially substantiated concerns, it must be reviewed. Immediately. Without hesitation. Without discretion that puts risk over prevention. Meena Singh, Acting Principal Children's Commissioner, says that if a finding is made, the Commission must notify the Secretary of the Department for a WWC check review. But that didn't happen here. And if it didn't happen in this case, how many other red flags lie buried under discretion? How many other children might be at risk? We must ask the hard questions, not later, not after the media storm, but now. Who knew? When did they know? What did they choose to do? And more damningly, what did they choose not to do? Because red flags mean something. Or at least they should. They are meant to be the moment a child is saved. Not the moment a system sighs and says, not serious enough. If this is what lower level means, then the system has lost its compass. Every report should matter. Every child should matter. Joshua Dale Brown was not previously known to police, but he was known to the system. And the system looked away. That is the real scandal. That is the real crime. Not just what one man allegedly did, but what the watchdogs failed to stop. And no apology will ever unmake what's been done. No policy tweak will restore the innocence lost. But there must be reckoning. There must be change. Because if we cannot act when the red flags are waving, then we are not protecting our children, we are abandoning them. And we cannot afford another Joshua Dale Brown. Not one more. Not ever again.